Welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing film analysis. This is your host Mr. BDA and I'm glad that you could all be here to enjoy this fine film analysis. Been a while since the film analysis have been done, but we're coming back special edition for the Keith Thurman Manny Pacquiao fight that will be taking place on July the 20th via Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, real quick, we did a video on this about Pacquiao's defensive liabilities, how he jumps in, and how Keith Thurman can catch him coming in. So you can catch that video, it's in the description and it's at the end of this video. The link is right there, so you can click on it if you haven't seen it. And in this film analysis, just want to illustrate a little bit more about what makes Keith Thurman so dangerous. So we're going to take a look at his style, his footwork, how he lures you in and tries to set you up for these big power punches, alright? That's the only thing we're going to cover in this film analysis. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, now one thing I gotta mention right away, I'm looking at the Sean Porter fight here. Why am I looking at the Sean Porter fight and not at the Luis Collazo fight, which is one of Keith Thurman's best southpaw opponents since Manny Pacquiao is a southpaw? Well, because I just want to show you the gist of Keith Thurman's style, which, as I've said, he is an offensive counterpuncher, i.e. a boxer puncher. He is a puncher, ladies and gentlemen. Just because he hasn't scored a lot of knockouts or stoppages in his last couple of fights does not mean that this man cannot crack. He can crack, believe me. And we're going to take a look at that in this video. But first of all, let's just take a look at the footwork. Alright, this is against Sean Porter, his best win so far. Sean Porter, you know he's going to jump in. Keith Thurman knows that. And whether it's Sean Porter or anybody else, Keith Thurman, if you jump at him, he's just going to do this. Circle to his right, pivot to his left, or just circle to his left as well. Lure you in side to side movement. Follow me, dance with me, and then he'll lean back. Look at just how he leans back here. You know, normally they say in boxing, the general rule is you don't lean back, especially with your hands down and your chin relatively up in the air. But when you got good reflexes, like a Keith Thurman, you can get away with that. And you see him there. He circled to the left, to his right, and Sean Porter is just jumping in, following. And he ended up overshooting the distance and getting way too close, which is one of the mistakes that Sean Porter usually makes. He smothers his own work. But you see here, Keith Thurman, side to side, follow me. Whoop, he misses, but he keeps circling. He changed directions, very good. Misses again, but changes directions and ducks under Porter's subsequent attack here. See this? Whoop. And now you see Sean Porter jumping in, head down, walking forward with his hands down. And Keith Thurman, all he has to do is change angles. And Sean Porter, even see how Keith Thurman changed that direction so well and so quickly that by the time he's getting away, look at Sean Porter, he has to reset, and he even trips over his own footwork because he's way out of position. And Thurman rightfully changed directions and angles so quickly. He's pretty safe there, and he forces Sean Porter to reset. Don't want to spend too much time on the footwork. I think you get the point that Keith Thurman is very good. He might be moving way too much here, but that's just a couple of examples. He doesn't do that throughout the whole fight, and it's really a setup for what comes next, which is what I'm going to show you. But here you see him, again, leaning back, hands down, but he's got so quick, his reflexes are so quick, he can get away with this. And just notice how he does this. Just look at Sean Porter. First of all, he's telegraphing his attack because he's bouncing, and then he sits down on his shot, and that's when Keith Thurman, that millisecond, he knows, okay, he's sitting down on his shot, something's coming. He's sitting down, so something must be coming. So what does he do? He pulls his left foot back. So look at this, Keith Thurman's chest. It's pointing at Sean Porter. But by the time he pulls his left foot back, it's pointing slightly to his left now and away from Sean Porter. So all he has to do is lean back, and he avoids that overhand right. Very dangerous, but like you guys know, and I've said this before, boxing is a game of inches. All you got to do is make the other guy miss by a couple of inches. You're playing tightrope here, you're walking a tightrope, but that's why these guys get paid the big bucks to take this type of risks, and he just circles away. Same thing here. Chest is pointing at Sean Porter, and you can't see it here, but what's going on is he knows the overhand right is coming, so he pulls his left foot back so that his chest is pointing away from Sean Porter. It's pointing to his right now, to Keith Thurman's right, so all he has to do is lean back, and he makes Sean Porter miss. Very good reflexes from Sean Porter. That's what Manny Pacquiao is going to have to deal with. And let's take a look at that. Manny Pacquiao, I've said it before, I've said it in the previous video, and the last one I did. Manny Pacquiao has problems chasing guys down. He's very good at closing the distance. He's got quick feet, quick hands. But when it comes to putting consistent pressure and cutting the ring off, that's really always been his weakness. And Adrian Broner in his last fight was able to play off of that. First of all, see there Pacquiao getting way too close, allowing Broner to smother his work. In this point, Broner was very focused on being defensive. So that's not really Manny Pacquiao's fault, but you can't fault him for being unable to break down a guy who's overly defensive. And Broner really was just looking to be as defensive as possible with pot shot. He tried to do what Floyd Mayweather did, but he's not as skilled as Floyd Mayweather, so he couldn't pull it off. But he did have success, like right there. See that Manny Pacquiao not cutting off the ring, overshooting the distance, just looking generally very disheveled. And this is what Keith Thurman can do. He makes you come forward, boom, catches with your shot. That's one of the few times, that's all really Broner was doing. Pot shotting, one shot at a time. Sometimes it would be two shots at a time. But see here, Pacquiao, he's just coming forward. At this point, he should be a little bit far. Look at how close he is to Adrian Broner at this point. He should be a little bit farther to expect Broner to circle to his right, and he should be cutting the ring off right here. It's easier said than done, I know. Listen, I'm not a professional fighter, so what the hell do I know? But I know what I see. I know a mistake when I see one. And Pacquiao, and see, he's even tripping. Look at this. It's like Bucho on a Saturday night, tripping all over himself, drunk. Sorry, Bucho, I had to do that. So see here, you see Pacquiao following. He's not cutting off the ring. He allows Broner to slide off the ropes. And like I showed you before, Keith Thurman has that type of footwork. He has a type of footwork where I think, this is my prediction, at least with his footwork, maybe he doesn't beat Pacquiao, he doesn't knock him out, but he's going to make him look like this a couple of times. And then what Thurman does is, once he finally makes you follow him, he makes you think that he's just going to be running away. Whoops, all of a sudden he does this. Wham! Sits down on his shots and counters. See right there, he's very good at transitioning from defense with his feet to sitting down and countering. And with power. Look at this. Standard move. He's blocking, hands up, inviting Sean Porter to throw some shots, but he's already anticipating that, Keith Thurman, so he opens his stance wider, his legs I should say, to jump back, leans back at the same time a little bit, very risky, but he's already seen Sean Porter coming, so now he does left hook, perfect range, makes Sean Porter weave or try to weave under the left hook, which he couldn't do, and he actually got caught there, and then boom, right uppercut. And look at how he throws a right uppercut. He's sitting down, leans down a little bit, sits down just a tiny little bit to have enough power on the right uppercut to do some serious damage. Now here's the other thing though. I'm going to criticize Keith Thurman as well in this video. That's what we're supposed to do. We look at the strengths and we look at the weaknesses. Look at this. Hook, hook. Very rudimentary offense, and he missed with those two wide shots. He put a lot of mustard on those shots, which is what he always does. But if you miss those type of shots, you lose what you put into them. So he can't be doing all that type of swinging against Manny Pacquiao. Again, same thing here, but this time he actually landed. So he sits down, right hand, but Sean Porter does a good job of stepping back and countering, or trying to counter. But again, both guys, they're just trading hooks. But this time what happens is Keith Thurman sees that he misses, so he knows something's coming back, leans back, counter with left hook. At the same time, that momentum with his swing allows him to roll with the right and comes back with a right hook, which catches Porter right on the face. And then boom, another left hook. A little bit too wide, so it lost a little bit of its power, but it couldn't have felt good for Sean Porter, and that's a clean scoring blow right there. So that's what Manny Pacquiao is going to have to deal with. Keith Thurman has fast hands, he's got good counterpunching, good reflexes, step in and out. Against a 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao, that's really going to force the 40-year-old engine to work overtime, and it might not be able to last the whole 12 rounds. That's what we're going to want to see. We're going to want to see if that happens. And here, see, just this clip, look at the nice, short, clean hook on the inside from Keith Thurman. Just really turning on those hips and catching Porter right on that chin. Porter took that shot pretty well, though. And here he just, boom, stuns him with an overhand right. They're trading. Keith Thurman sticks that jab in Porter's face. Porter's not. Look at him. His eyes semi-closed. He got blindsided by that jab, so he doesn't. And Keith Thurman changes levels, so he sits down. He's no longer in the same position. So the right hand is coming from a different angle that he does not see coming, and it forces him to drop. See, as Keith Thurman is dropping, so is Porter's left hand, and so he's wide open for that boom. And then a follow-up left hook, but look at how wide it is. His left hand is straight. There's no arc in that hook, so it's not a surprise that Porter, who's got a good chin, was able to take it. But man, he took some bombs. And then this follow-up, Porter's coming in, try to smother Keith Thurman so that he can clinch and survive. But Keith Thurman has enough space to, again, look at how he loads up on the right uppercut, sits down on it, brings all his weight up, oof, right on solar plexus. That I would have rather taken those hooks to the face than that right uppercut to the plexus. My goodness. And he stuns him here again in a little exchange. So again, guys, and then there he's working off the ropes again with hooks, very quick hooks, a lot of power. Oof, nice little counter left hook to the body there. Went under. Porter was probably expecting something upstairs. But Keith Thurman, and this is why Keith Thurman's got power, because he sits down on his shots and he turns them over so that he can have some extra pop on them. Here's just a little quick counter, and this is the counter. This is what he's gonna have to do. Stop fucking countering with hooks all the time and actually throw some goddamn straight punches. This is about as straight as he throws them, especially with the distance. I mean, he couldn't throw it completely straight, otherwise it loses its power. There's no power in it. But what he did is, which you're supposed to do at this distance, lift the elbow up a little bit, nice short right hand, boom, caught Porter right on the inside. See where I'm going with this, folks? You see where I'm going with this, right? And if you don't see it, I don't know what to tell you. Boom. Make Pacquiao jump in. You saw what happens. You saw what happens. Keith Thurman, make Pacquiao lead. Make him jump in. Frustrate him with the footwork. And when he doesn't expect it, you counter with your straight shots. But they gotta be straight, because Pacquiao is still pretty quick with those straight shots. That's all he throws, Manny Pacquiao. Straight shots. So for Keith Thurman, try to reduce the movement a little bit. Don't run too much. Don't lean away from your fighter too much. Keep your hands up, because Manny Pacquiao, what he does is 40 years old, but he can still crack. And at this point, all these welterweights that see Manny Pacquiao and they look at him 5 feet tall. Actually, he's 5'5", but let's say he's 5 feet tall. They look at his little size, they look at him short, they think, this guy can't hurt me. I'm gonna be able to take his shots. Come on, he's hurt virtually everybody he's fought. All right, with the exception of Joshua Clottey. Even Mayweather, he stunned him. So if Keith Thurman thinks he's just gonna waltz in there and not get touched and not get hurt, he better be prepared in there to take some shots, and not to fight with his hands down, not to get overconfident, straighten his shots a little bit. And that's all, really, that's the key. He has to frustrate Manny Pacquiao with his footwork. Now, whether he can land the appropriate shots or enough of them to outbox and get a decision or stop Manny Pacquiao remains to be seen. You guys tell us. What did we get right? What did we get wrong? Do you think Keith Thurman has a skill set? Does he have the offense and the activity, more important, to outwork, outbox, and knock out Manny Pacquiao? Let us know. Subscribe to BDA Live. Subscribe to our home channel, BDA Boxing, where we do the live podcasts and other goodies. And we'll see you in the next one, folks. Take it easy.